these will be. They won't be every week, but I like when there's some meaning in it and I can leave a message and it's calling me to say it. Now listen, the main difference between Patreon and YouTube is YouTube can be fluffed up. YouTube can involve entertainment, all types of stuff like that. Patreon is not like that at all. This is strictly business. I know y'all come over here and y'all pay. A lot of y'all will have access to this video. A lot of y'all don't know. If you're the $1 tier, you can see certain videos, but you cannot see every video. I just gave y'all access to certain videos, this one included, because I like to give y'all a taste of what the Patreon is. You're contributing even a small amount like $1, and guess what? I want you to have some type of benefit. But if you do want access to all the videos, that's the $15 tier and every tier above that. But I like the inclusive community that we have on the Patreon. I like that we're here for business. I like that we're much more serious. Y'all pay, y'all invest. It shows me how dedicated y'all are to changing or improvement. So that's the main difference between YouTube, Twitch, Patreon, any other platform. Patreon, we come here and we are serious. Now listen, the message of this video today is honor earns the crown. And this, like I said, other videos may have all this structure of, oh, here's the lesson, here's this. But this is more of a discussion. This is more of an open talk kind of video. And the reason I'm saying this, honor earns the crown. And the funny part, where this thought came from is a singer I love, Sade. Y'all might know her. I play her on stream sometimes. And her full name is like Fola Sade or something like that. And it means honor earns the crown. And I had to really think about that. Because I believe that when I hear something and it resonates with me, something so random, I think there's a deeper meaning and a deeper purpose to it. Something like the translation of her name, some random information that I got, right? And I had an interesting Patreon call Wednesday, I believe, like yesterday. And we were talking, the guy came in and asked me a question like, Ty, I'm inconsistent with women. I'm inconsistent with my game. And that was the question. And we ended up having a whole conversation about the bigger picture of the problem with being inconsistent. And it was much bigger than woman. And if you're a woman watching this, inconsistency is much bigger than your dating life. It's much bigger than, oh, I can't go to the gym Wednesdays sometimes, and I said I was going to go 4 times a week. But I gave him an answer that changed his mind and provided a unique way of thinking and solution. So hopefully I'm going to lead this with y'all, had this discussion, and, it can mean something. I think it's very important to think big. A lot of us have outdated versions of ourselves. We have outdated sense of selves. And the reason it's outdated is because it's reflective of who we were 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 1 year ago, 1 month ago, or even as recent as a week or yesterday. And why is your sense of self, meaning how you view yourself, what your perspective of yourself is, why is it being so recent and outdated a problem? The problem is that you are not who you were yesterday. I am not who I was yesterday. Every single day I'm given a chance to go and breathe in a new breath of air. Every moment, really, not even day by day, but every moment, I can choose to be someone else. And the funny part, the first statement that comes to my mind is when you try to do something new or be someone new, the first thing someone says to you when they try to hold you back is, who do you think you are? And the funny part is I don't think I'm nobody. I'm choosing who I am. It's not a thought. I'm just being, right? If you're truly standing on who you are and you have the courage to stand in who you want to be, it's all the same thing at one time. Who you think you are, who you want to be, and who you're choosing to be. They're the same thing. We have the courage to stand up and say, here's who I am. And here's who I'm going to present myself to the world as. And the reason that the quote or the name translation, honor earns the crown, correlates with this outdated version of self and all of that is because a lot of people lives would change if they started to develop the tool of foresight. And foresight is basically being a visionary. It's basically saying, what is my mind eye see? What does the eye see? What is the eye that can see when my eyes are closed see? What is my vision, right? What do I see for myself in the future? And the stronger your foresight, the stronger your ability to be able to predict, here's how my next 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20, 30, 40 years can go, or how I want it to go, right? You start planning with your vision. The stronger that is, the more you're in the present moments can be dictated by some sort of structure. For example, if I'm trying to be a champion in basketball, and I'm saying I want to win an NBA championship by the time I'm 30 or 40 or something like that. I'm making these numbers up. Or any championship in any sport, any big top title. I'm going to have to hold myself accountable today for that championship 10 years from now. Every day up until that 10 years. Because I could get it as soon as whenever, right? Let's say I am already a professional, or I'm going on my way to be recruited or whatever, and that's a part of my plan. Because plans and visions, excuse me, I need some more water. When I get to talking like this, I get thirsty. Plans and visions are specific. It's not just a written goal that says I want to be a millionaire. That could be at the top of the totem pole, but under that needs to be, how am I going to be a millionaire? Step by step by step. What's my plan? Plans are specific. They are detailed. They consider obstacles. They consider predictable problems. They consider advantages. You start getting good at looking at the cards you're dealt and saying, what's my next best move based on who I am and where I'm at? And I'm going to keep spinning this back to the quote, honor earns the crown, because the metaphor I used when I was doing the Patreon call that I mentioned was, do not go against the king. Do not disrespect the king. And who is the king? If you're watching this and you're a man. If you're watching this and you're a woman, then it's the queen. But the king is you. Who's the person that knows and understands you without you even opening your mouth? Who's the person that was there since the day you were born? Who's the person that will lay in your casket, in your grave with you? You. Do not go against the crown. And honor earns the crown, because as you honor the crown, as you stand by it, as you defend it, as you manage it, right? Because a strong kingdom, people don't just walk in and out the castle gates. There are guards at the gate. But you let anybody walk in and out of your life as if, there's no boundaries that you have. Or as if they shouldn't be vetted to come into your life or your kingdom with a purpose. You allow yourself to play yourself in many types of ways. But part of this is because what I said in the beginning, you have an outdated sense of self. You're not looking ahead and saying, you know what, I'm going to be running my own business in the future. You know what, I'm going to go back to school and get this degree for that. You know what, I'm going to have children. I'm going to get this big house. You're thinking of yourself so small that you're dishonoring and disrespecting the crown. And the thing about you is you are a powerful motherfucker. You are powerful. And you cannot harness your power. It reminds me of like the Marvel movie and the Avengers. Thor has this hammer, right? And the hammer is called Mjolnir or some. It has some weird ass name. Basically, you cannot lift the hammer unless you're worthy. That's you. That's the crown. Every time you disrespect the crown, dishonor the crown, go against the crown, you show the hammer you cannot pick it up. So there's so much power in you when you're assertive, when you're confident, when you believe in yourself, when you take risks, when you say, you know what, I got it, I can do it. There's so much power in you that comes out. Your drive is just impeccable. The way you live, the way you think, the way you see things is unstoppable. And you cannot begin to harness that or bring that out of you if you do not honor yourself. You do not stand by yourself. You do not live and die by yourself. And I don't mean by yourself as in alone. I just mean standing with. Like, I got me kind of mentality. And is another way I wanted to take this, another direction I wanted to take this into. But I want a lot of y'all to really process this idea that how are you going against yourself? How are you disrespecting yourself every time you allow another person's opinion and judgment to go into your mind and stop you from doing something? Every time you let fear to stop you from doing something. No, to hell with that, man. Fear should be afraid of me because I don't give a fuck. A lot of people laugh when I post videos of myself singing, playing the piano and guitar on Instagram and stuff. And I'm not that great as I want to be or as my level, as my standard I have of myself. You know why I can post that in front of everybody and not be embarrassed, even though I know it's not the best? Is because instead of using their judgment, I have my own judgment of myself. So my judgment is stronger than theirs. My judgment, I have such a high respect for myself because I trust myself. My opinion matters most to me. And I'm not arrogant. It's just who else can I trust? Right? And even if I can trust somebody, at least they're credible. At least I trust them for a purpose. A lot of y'all just allow other people's opinions, validation, and hate and negativity get to y'all. Again, remember what I said earlier. Can anything just walk into a good kingdom, or is there guards at the door? If an opinion comes across my castle gates, what makes you worthy? Are you a music teacher? Are you a vocal coach? Are you are you in a band even? Are you like, what makes your opinion worthy of coming in these castle gates? Is there a purpose in what you're saying? If not, you can't make it through. Because the way this castle is ran, the way this kingdom is ran, the way I honor my crown is by bringing things into the kingdom which benefits the crown. And that's what gives me the conviction, the focus, the dedication, and the determination to prevail amongst all opinions that stop the average person from being exposed, showing who they are, and continuing on. And this idea of having your own judgment of yourself is something my guy Steve said, the man mindset, right? He said, I do not judge myself, but I trust my judgment. I'm going to say that 2 more times. I do not judge myself, but I trust my judgment. Last time. I do not judge myself, but I trust my judgment. And the meaning behind this is, a lot of y'all might listen to that at the surface and say, what the fuck does that mean? Guess what? Most of you do the opposite. What do? You judge yourselves, but you don't even trust your judgment. So you judge yourselves, meaning as soon as you want to try something, as soon as you have a thought, you shoot it down and say, no, that's a dumb idea. That's a dumb question. That's a dumb plan. You can't do it, right? You're judging yourself all the time, just telling yourself all these negative things, looking at what other people, what you think other people would say, what other people have said. So always judging yourself. But you don't trust your judgment. And your judgment is when it's time to make a decision, you don't trust your decision. You're indecisive. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust your judgment. So when you have to make a decision, we have to give an opinion, you don't even trust it. So you trust someone else's decision. You'll trust someone else's judgment. And I have done this before. So I know what that quote meant to me when I realized the switch I made when I committed to myself. And then meanwhile, most people, again, always judge themselves but do not trust their judgment. All you do is dishonor the crown. Because how could I not have my best interests at heart when I make a decision? How could I not have my best interests at heart when I give my opinion? Who else am I trying to benefit? Well, if I'm a people pleaser and I've been bred to have a low self-esteem, this is how I think and how I live. But remember, it's not your fault that you're like that, but it's your fault that you're staying like that. And why am I giving you the freedom to say it's not your fault to be like that? Because we are taught since the day we are born how to please others, how to live up to others' expectations, how to fit in, and how to get along and flow with everyone else, right? And not from a social aspect, really, from a acceptance aspect, from a this is right and this is wrong aspect. When in reality, we're being taught this and told this by people who were taught by other people. And then there's this continuous cycle of people following each other and listening to each other. And this is why they call people sheep, and they follow the flock of the herd or whatever, right? No one, you're literally not even, when you decide to be different, you're not fighting the world. You're not going against the world. You're going against like 2 people who control everybody else. That's literally what it is. Because all the crowd and the herd is going to do is refer back to the mob mentality. And they're just going to think like everyone else. So when you stand up and say, I'm unique, I'm going to be who I am, I don't give a fuck what y'all think, you're not fighting the world. You're fighting like 2 people. Everybody else is just repeating like birds that you hear chirp when they fly by. And they just beak and squawk and whatever the fuck the proper term is. So I say all this to say, honor earns the crown. Love yourself, take care of yourself, stand by yourself. Dojo to the moon to